Hi everyone, it's Ellen, and today I'm going to share with you our 2019-2020 homeschool curriculum. I know I'm late putting this up, but with moving, just getting settled into a new house, now's the time to do it. For those of you who may be new to my channel, I am Ellen. I have 3 children. They are 5, 7, and 9, and we are secular, eclectic, military homeschoolers. We enjoy world schooling. We enjoy mixing and matching our curriculum, so we don't just choose like one curriculum set. I pull from different sources, so that's more our homeschooling style. And I post about homeschooling, some traveling, some planning, and books that we read. If you didn't get a chance to see the update video that I made last week, you might want to watch that before you watch this one. I'll link it in the card above or in the description down below. So a quick recap of that update video is that we are doing this year what I'm calling a hybrid homeschool year. So basically my children will go or are going to German school in the morning. They are done by lunchtime. They come home, we eat lunch together, and then homeschool in the afternoon. So the stuff that I'm going to show you today are the things that I'm doing at home with my children in the afternoon. So they are each in school right now. My 5-year-old is in kindergarten, my 7-year-old is going to 1st grade, and my 9-year-old is in 3rd grade. So the curriculum that we're doing at home though is a continuation from last year, the levels that they were at last year. So the stuff that we're doing at home is kinder, 2nd grade, and 4th grade. So I wanted them to go a year back in school because they are not fluent in German, and I wanted them to focus more on the acquisition of the language and not learning the material and the language at the same time. So that is just their main focus at school, is just learning the language. Whereas at home, we are basically furthering the education. So I'm going to show you first what I'm doing for what I'm using for planning purposes, and then I'll go kind of by grade level, and then there's some things that are all together, like our science we do all together. So I'll show you that one last. So let's take a look at our curriculum this year. So what I'm using for the planning of this year are these 2 items here. So this is Plan Your Year by Pam Barnhill, and she gives just some good resources to plan. And I'm not writing in this book because I do plan on using it for multiple years, and I want to not have to buy a new one every year. So I'm just using just another notebook for that and putting those pages in there. But basically she has like some ideas on creating schedules, courses of study, unit studies, and just overall planning tips and like little resources like that to use. And I think this is a good resource to help plan your year out. And if you're interested, I'll try to put the links to the products in the description down below. Sometimes it can get a little tedious, but I will try to put that in there. You can get that off Amazon. And this I'm using to plan out the year. I made a video about this, and I'll link it down below and at the top so that you can see a more detailed view of this binder. But I'm loving it so far, and if you want more details on what this looks like, then you can look at the other video I made about it. So the core of our curriculum is going to be these options right here, which is what I chose because I wanted something that was literature based but also had a good component of grammar and writing. So for my 5-year-old daughter, we are going to be using the Worldly Wisdom Level K from Torchlight. And this is a literature-based secular curriculum. I only printed out the cover page to put in my planning notebook. I didn't want to I didn't want to print out the entire thing. I'm going to look at it mostly online and just print what I need. So that's what we're going to be using for her. I also like that I love the picture book choices that they have, and I'm not only using it for her, of course, the others, my other 2 children will be listening to the stories as well and partaking in the discussions and activities. So I'm always open to each child participating in what the other child is doing if they want to. I have no problem with that. And some of these books sometimes will end up being the books that we read and discuss at night before we go to bed, just if we don't have time during the day or we run out of time. But that's what we're doing for her. And then so for my 7 and 9-year-old, my 2nd and 4th grader, we are doing the lightning literature. And I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but if you would like me to make another video about this, please let me know. But just to give you like an overview, there are just different sections in here. I love the color actually in the kids workbook. That was one of the things that attracted me to it. But they have sections where you can write in here, and then you're learning already about adjectives, nouns, verbs, and all that stuff. But definitely plenty of opportunities to write and to diagram, and just stuff that we haven't really been focused on so far in our homeschool. And my children also are not getting this in their German school either. So some of the books that are included for the 2nd grade, I'm going to show those real quick. Some of these, the first part are picture books, and then it gets into, let's see, I'm looking down. Oh, then we have the Random House book of poetry that we're going to go into. So it starts off with smaller books, and then we end up going with Boxcar Children, My Father's Dragon, Mr. Popper's Penguins. So then we do get into some chapter books towards the end of the year. And then 4th grade book, it's basically the same type of things. You're reading, you're using the readings to write and answer questions throughout here. And it has chapter books all throughout. So some of these here, The Earth Dragon Awakes, Morning Girl, The One and Only Ivan, Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. So it kind of goes through, and let's see on the back. Oh, no, there are no more. That's it. So I will show you a quick overview of the books for 4th grade in case you want to see what they look like. These are the books that will be read for the 4th grade curriculum of the lightning literature. And then so for the smaller ones, we'll only spend 2 weeks on these, whereas the ones like this, with The One and Only Ivan, The Dreamer, Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, we'll spend about 4 weeks on those books. And again, I use all of the things that we are reading or listening to. All of my children participate in the reading and discussion of the books, and then only my oldest will participate in the writing on this one. If my 7-year-old ever wanted to participate in the specific activities, of course I let them do that as well, but we do all listen to the read alouds as a family. For math this year, we are going with Singapore, and I got the grade levels that are right for each of them for this year. And we are going with Singapore this year because I just thought it would be a good match for where they are and where I want them to be at the end of the year. So we will just work through these. I have both A and B of each set, and then I also did get the teacher's manuals this year just to kind of look at them, see how I like them, and see what kind of supplementary things that I can use from them. For geography this year, we'll be using these two. So one will be, first we'll go through Draw the World, an outline of continents and oceans. So basically just going through this book together and learning how to draw the world from memory, basically. But practice a little bit each day and then be able to draw the entire world by the end of the year. Or excuse me, by the end of the semester. For this one, we'll focus on first, and then we'll go into Draw Europe. And the reason I chose Draw Europe is because we live in Germany, so I thought naturally it would be best to learn what is around us first. So here, just step by step, we'll go through, and then, so not only are they learning to draw, but they're also learning what countries make up the specific continent. And then we'll be doing the maps, charts, and graphs, A, B, C, and then so for my 5-year-old, for my 7-year-old, and for my 9-year-old, that's what we'll be going through for the year. I haven't decided if I want to continue on with this, so like when they each finish, move them to B, C, and D respectively, but we'll start here and then see how it goes from there. And lastly, for science this year, this is what we are going to be using. So I'm using this one kind of as a spine, and it has about 42 weeks, I believe. Let me double check again. I don't remember offhand, but there's somewhere, oh, there's 41 lesson plans in here. We already went through the first few last year when I first bought this book. So we'll finish out this book this year. And then my oldest, my 9-year-old, begged me for more science, more. That science is his favorite subject. So I went with these books to focus on this year. And I have elementary chemistry and elementary physics. And these come with 3 books if you're not familiar with them. So the regular textbook is fun, colorful, pretty simple. Textbook about various things. So this one, of course, is about chemistry, molecules, atoms, etc. And then you have the teacher's manual that goes along with it. And it just describes the experiments to do, what kind of questions to ask, materials that you need. And then there's the laboratory workbook for the students to fill out when they do the various experiments. And here's a view into the physics one, and both of these are for K through 4, but I think they're pretty simple, maybe not for kindergarten, but at least 1st through 3rd grade. It's pretty good information on here. And let's see if there's a big overview of the subject. So here we have what is physics, push and pull, kinds of energy, when things move, chemical energy, and electricity, moving electrons, magnets, light and sound, saving energy. So those are the things that go in the physics. And then the same, you have the laboratory workbook and the teacher's manual. And I forgot to show you what it was in the chemistry, in the table of contents. We have atoms, molecules, molecules meet, acids, bases react. And then mixtures, unmixing, food and taste, molecular chains, and molecules in your body. We did start on the chemistry one last year, so we'll finish this one up first and then move on to this. And then if we finish through these and then my son still wants more science, before we left South Korea, we were able to get the Focus on Middle School Astronomy from a friend, so we'll go through that as well. But we'll see how this year goes. One of the things that you don't see included in our homeschool curriculum for this year is any kind of phonics or reading type of focus. And that is because I found it hard to teach reading both in English and in German at the same time using the same alphabet. So what I've decided for now is that I'm just going to give them a solid reading foundation in German, and then once they have that, then we'll focus on the reading of English. Of course, the homeschool material is in English, and picture books that we have are also in English, and if they ever ask what a particular word is or what something says, I will still sound it out and show it to them. But the focus for right now is reading in German, and then once they have that, we'll go to reading in English. Thanks for watching our curriculum choices for this 2019-2020 school year. If you have any comments or questions, please put them down below. I love engaging with the homeschool community on YouTube and answering any questions you may have or any comments that you may have. I look forward to reading them down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.